Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम 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 सैटरडे नाಳೆ जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम 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 श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om. Today we received an email some clarification is needed on the 12th sloka of the 12th chapter. That's what he has written. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasad jnanat dhyana vishishyate dhyanat karma phalatyagam tyagat shantir anantaram. At the face of it, everybody may find it difficult to accept the theme as such. First we will go through the meaning, then we will try to do that. Better indeed is the knowledge than abhyasa. That means ritualistic form of practicing something without knowing the background. Everybody is doing it, I am also doing it. So that will not help. We all know from our own experience that every day during the Arati session, we repeat because it is in Marathi, it has not gone deep into it. Especially the last sloka is so powerful. Wherever I see only your form. Jajya stali he manajaya maje. Wherever my mind goes. But we are unable to absorb, assimilate and make it a part of our life. Because it has slipped into a ritual. That's what is meant. Better indeed is the knowledge than abhyasa. Meditation is more esteemed than knowledge. Because knowledge stays at the academic level, intellectual level. So to make it go deeper, we need deep contemplation. Then only the assimilation comes, slowly, And then only it will slowly become a part of our thinking system. That is how the culture enters into us. If we superficially, intellectually understand things, no. And then, better than meditation is the renunciation of the fruit of actions. Peace immediately follows renunciation. So, karma phalatyagam. Normally, in vyavaharic duties, everybody does action expecting something in return. You take a project in a company, it visualizes, it gives you some idea as to what should be the input and what should be the output and what is the margin there, giving provisions for various contingencies and how we move ahead. Because it has to become creative, productive, profitable. Otherwise it cannot. So those who read this, they may find it difficult at the superficial level, they may find it difficult to accept the theory. That is not what is meant here. Lord Krishna wants us, all of us, to go back to our origin and the origin of everything. Is there anything that we can take credit of? Even the very birth, we were not consulted before we were conceived by our mother. Did the so-called the me and me now, it was not consulted at all. Think about it. The present me and mine in us, probably it had entered into us in our 5th or 6th or 10th year. And it then started growing. And now it has taken over us completely, making us to believe that we are the doers, we are the planners, we are the enjoyers, we are the sufferers, we are the gainers, we are the losers. But think about the origin. And whatever we do today, even now, this exposition of Bhagavad Gita, it is possible through the language, you know. I did not bring the language. I did not bring this electricity or the amplifier. I did not bring the laptop. I did not compose Bhagavad Gita. Right from the minutest we start analyzing. Is there anything to call? The moment I am born, everybody knows, I need air to breathe, water to drink, earth to exist, space to move about, 98.4 degree temperature to keep me alive. I need sun, rains, metals, minerals, gases. Everything is a gift of God through Mother Nature. For the sake of newcomers, we are telling, only when we got the corona, most of us got the corona here. At that time, many were finding it difficult to breathe. And many of us paid money to have a, what is it called? I don't know. That small something that produces oxygen. Eh? So the oximeter is to your saturation level.
Oxygen cylinder.
Not cylinder. It's a small one. Not ventilator. Anyhow, whatever it may be, you got the idea, no? Monthly they were charging about 4,000 rupees. They used to give us, but monthly they used to charge about 4,000 rupees. For our very existence, for oxygen we were paying. Now the moment the corona is over, God is giving us, you know. Do we pay? Is it because of any of our intelligence that we are breathing? So our very existence is because of the bounteous gifts of Him. And because of that life force, we have been able to develop intelligence also. Think about it. That is what he says. So the renunciation of the fruit of action, the importance of various practices one by one is explained here. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat. Jnana is better than abhyasa. That is blind following, you know, that is what here meant by abhyasa. Practice without knowing the symbolic significance. Just now we were sharing, yesterday morning we had that flag hoisting. If we simply go there and hoist the flag, one sentimental satisfaction is there, because that is the tradition here. On all important 7 days in a year, we hoist the Pranava flag. But when we were told that the purpose is not as a ritual, as a sadhaka, as a spiritual aspirant, as a devotee, we are to be constantly reminded of the goal to be reached. Otherwise, our mind will get preoccupied with various activities, forgetting the purpose for which we have come here. Whether it is inmates or the visiting devotees may not know God realization and all that, but they know that they want peace of mind. No, that is enough. Peace is God. Why do they go to an ashram? Ultimately, no, they want peace of mind, a cut off from the common run of life or the routine, where they will be able to feel the peace within. So yesterday, before the flag hoisting was done, it was mentioned. This also we did not know. Swami Chidanji Maharaj, when he came here, probably 20 years back, 25 years, 22 years back, that was on Puja Mataji's Samadhi period. So when we requested him to hoist the flag, he gave a small speech there. Luckily, it was so inspiring. We were able to take the extract and bring it out. So every time the flag is hoisted, We will just repeat Swamiji's words. So he says, flag hoisting symbolically, he has said so many things on that day, but we are only telling the abstract one. The flag hoisting reminds us of the ultimate goal to be scaled. And the very act of hoisting reminds us of the persevering, patient, sustaining efforts on our part. Otherwise, the flag will not go up, We should be conscientious, we should be knowingly do it. Our entire one-pointed attention is there. And then we ensure that it doesn't fall. So we tie it at the bottom. And that is why when it reaches the top, normally, they put some flowers in it. So that flower will come from the top. An inexplicable joy will well up in everybody's heart, at least for a fraction of a second. That means a glimpse of the bliss, a glimpse of, it is not joy, a glimpse of the bliss absolute, It may be not 1% of the second, but still everybody will automatically clap. So similarly, this is what is meant here, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat. So if we know the symbolic significance behind every practice, that is shrestha, than merely following the rules. And then, mere practice without knowledge has no meaning. So knowledge is superior to practice. Jnana dhyanam vishishyate. Better that jnana or knowledge is dhyana or meditation. However much we try to understand it at the outer level, it becomes academic, intellectual knowledge. We may be able to reproduce it beautifully, but whether has it gone inside? So any attempt to go inward with the deep contemplation, that is preferable than knowledge. 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna is building up this wonderful theme. And then, dhyanat karma phalatyaga. Even the inward journey, and then you come back. But better than that is the renunciation of the fruit of your action. Because the expectation is not there. Expectation causes stress, anxiety, sense of insecurity, so many things we can add. While doing action, before we do action, what occupies our mind is the fruit of action. We remember Puja Swami Chinmayanji Maharaj was once casually telling, disappointments can come only to those who make appointments with the future. Do make appointments, not with the future, but with the present. So I expect something to happen, it doesn't happen, then I get depressed, dejected, dispirited, no? So he says, how do we do that? How do we reach that stage? Renunciation of fruits of action is what the practice of dhyana brings us. Tyagad shanti anantaram. And when that tyaga or renunciation comes, the mind becomes shanta, peaceful, serene. So the successive steps have been mentioned here. Abhyasa, jnana, dhyana, karma balatyaga. That karma balatyaga must come. That is the highest we have to achieve. All this belongs to the Lord only. I am only an instrument of the Lord. That attitude must come through dhyana as well as jnana. If jnana and dhyana do not bring this attitude in me, they become meaningless, fruitless as it were. So finally comes shanti. Various verses like this are there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Similar verses are there in the Gita also. Normally we do not consider what is happening to the mind when we work. Is it becoming better, purer, richer? We usually do not ask that question. We just work and wait for external results. Yes, I have dug 20 pits today. I have done good work. Oh, I have gone through so many papers, given my opinion to it. My work is over. All that is work outside. What is happening to the mind? Usually we do not ask that question. That is why there is so much trouble for humanity. Is my mind getting better and better by this work? Is it getting purer and purer? Is it getting closer to the self that is behind? Capital S. That means, is it achieving spiritual progress? If people ask these questions, it will be a very important thing for humanity. Already here and there, some newly started magazines are discussing the methods to bring consciousness into the picture. Consciousness is left behind. Consciousness works, changes the world outside. What happens to consciousness itself? Many decades ago in Bombay, when one of our devotees' grandfather, he was also a devotee later, yes. When he was working in a British firm, the person who was doing this attendance work, he has been irregular for a quite long time. But the company gave him a long rope. Every time they said, don't repeat, don't repeat, don't repeat. But when it crossed the limit, ultimately they had to tell him, you better go. So the person left. After 5 months or 6 months, same person came and asked the person who was in charge of the section, will you please give me a contract certificate, service certificate? He said, how can we give you a contract certificate? You were irregular in your work in spite of our reminders. And how can we say something else in our certificate? He kept mum. But somehow this devotee thought, I will have a word with the boss before I send him away. So he went to that Britisher who was the boss. When he explained about this thing, he has come for a certificate. He said, give him a first class certificate. Sir, how can we give? He was sent out because of his delinquence in his duty. He said, how do you know that he has not changed? The very fact that he has come here and asked for the certificate, that itself shows that a transformation has taken place. And even if it is not, this might be instrumental to give him a good life. So give him a first class certificate. Think about it. See, he says every act, whether it is getting richer, whether we are getting broad-minded, or whether we are trying to see everything through the goggles of our rules, regulations, customs, traditions. There is a human element involved, So everywhere, suppose we try to bring in this human element, automatically the expectation for the fruit will not be there. Logically, scientifically, suppose you in the bow and arrow, you are releasing the arrow. The moment the arrow is released, you have no power, na? It might hit the target, it might not. You have nothing on. Similarly, you work. Your job is to work. Why should you get tensed up? It will have its own result. And here the warning is, don't appropriate it to yourself. Because there are so many contributory factors behind that success. When I become conscious of it, when I become aware of it, that even if suppose I have achieved the target, immediately I should know there are so many. When the first attempt failed, second attempt or third attempt was succeeded in launching the satellite, APJ Abdul, revered our ex-president, Abdul Kalam was he was the scientist there, senior scientist. He immediately did not take the credit to himself. Immediately he said, it's the collective effort of all our people, which is the truth. But he could have said, because he is representing before the government, he will get the award, he will get the appreciation. But openly he had that mind, because not merely working, that is what here it is meant. Not merely working. What is happening to the mind? Usually we do not ask this question. That is why there is so much of trouble for humanity. Is my mind getting better and better? Is it getting purer and purer? Is it getting closer to the inner self? That means, is it achieving spiritual progress? If people ask these questions, it will be a very important thing for humanity. Already. So what has happened to it? Science deals with the objects, but the scientist has a consciousness. What is his name? Lee, who was the author of this website. I think Lee, when he brought out this from the conceptual level to an actual level, no patent was charged. He said, this is what I can do back to the humanity. See? All of us are enjoying all the results of the scientists. Think about it. Science deals with the object, but the scientist has a consciousness. What has happened to it? He or she does not care and will say, that is not in my purview. I am concerned with objects. So only now in the 20th century, a little awareness of the importance of consciousness has come. There is a desire to handle consciousness. Can we develop it? Can we expand it? Can we make it pure? These questions are slowly being raised. Ethical and spiritual questions are slowly coming to the forefront. When physical science has come to the end of its tether, it cannot do anything further. It can only give you more gadgets, more machines, such other things. It can give nothing higher. So a reaction has come. This subject has come to prominence. Sri Krishna says here, when we practice devotion in the midst of work, our mind will be growing. Please hear this, If we practice devotion in the midst of work, meaning what? We remember the great provider, After our graduation, suppose we take up a PhD project and we try to bring in a new innovative creative idea, and the panel judges and they award us PhD. I become a doctor in philosophy. Naturally there will be applause, so many people will congratulate so many things. But I know very well that it is because of the collective effort of so many souls. They provided the base work, made me to go through their hard-earned experiences. And that experience has kindled and brought out what is latent in me. Prior to going through the 2 years course, there will be a, what is he called? Guide. Yeah, there will be a guide for every patient. He chooses a number of books, a number of revelations by different people who have done some researches. And then those things, when you go through it honestly, sincerely, it touches and kindles certain new element. But you need the support of all these people. That is how a new theory is brought out through that essay or thesis, and the thesis is accepted by the panel, and that becomes, a basis for further progress. Beautiful. So he or she becomes aware of the contributory factors that have helped him to bring out that thesis. So the subject has come to, Sri Krishna says, when we practice devotion in the midst of work, dedication, we may not say God's finger, but we can say God's creation's finger. No? It is because of the factors other than me that have helped me to bring it out, which is the truth. So when we become aware that I am what I am because of the factors other than me, how can I appropriate everything to myself? This is how the renunciation of fruit of action wells up in our heart, slowly develops in our heart. Karma phala tyagam. So that must be properly studied and directed. That's an important responsibility of men and women. If one neglects the mind, he or she will do plenty of work, make plenty of money, but that peace of mind, that spiritual growth, that inner growth will never come to such a person. So in this is how Sri Krishna introduces step by step, and then in the next following stanzas, 7 or 8 stanzas, he lists out who is my dearest devotee. So the question is, we have to apply our mind again and again and again, go through our experience. Whenever in our life, whenever we got an applause, an appreciation, an acknowledgement, a recognition from anybody, suppose I get 95, 90 plus in my exams. I should know, somebody may come and congratulate me. But basically I should know, I should not arrogate that I got it. Text is not brought out by you, language is not brought out by you, curriculum is not brought out by you, syllabus is not brought out by you, teachers are not brought out by you, institution has not been brought out by you, and there is a collective effort of all these that facilitated for passing on the textual knowledge into your brain, and then Lord who is seated within us in the form of life force. Do we have any say on our life force? Just like we were not consulted when we were conceived, we will not be consulted when we have to leave this body also. The heart works, the digestion takes place, the breathing goes on, the blood circulation goes on. All these things are not done by me. There is a power in me which is called the life force. If this life force is not there, I am not there. And I have not done anything for this life force. It was given to me. So I become aware, so I will not take credit. For the sake of newcomers, we will also share one more anecdote. We have repeated this many times during the satsang. But still it is so sweet, we feel like repeating it. One of our devotee son in Coimbatore, he was a tennis player, regular practice. So he stood first in his college. Then there was inter-college meet. He came out first. Then there was inter-district tennis tournament. The opponent was also equally efficient, and the whole stadium is full of spectators. It was a neck-to-neck fight, inch-to-inch fight. Both of them are brilliant in their performance. Ultimately, the devotee's son, he won. There was a standing ovation, applause, so many things. But the boy was calm and cool. Here he says, Shanti. So his mother, who was one among the spectators, started running towards him to the ground, hugged him and asked him, "Are you not happy?" You know what is that? That 18-year-old boy? He also played well. In a match, only one will succeed. This time I happened to succeed. The same idea coming out in a different form. The mind is getting purer, The consciousness is becoming more dominant than coming down to the me and my level and take the credit. He said this here, and if I show anything, later on he said, he will get wounded because he also played well. So we don't belittle anything, We do our best. We do not appropriate the result to ourselves. That is the whole theme of this particular stanza. So knowledge is better than practice. Inward journey is better than knowledge. Renunciation of the fruit of action is better than inward journey. Because ultimately our aim is to get Shanti, peace of mind. Shantir Anantaram. Karmabala Tyagad Shantir Anantaram. So the peace comes only when out of the renunciation. This is a very important, very important sloga, which we should keep on plumbing deep, because it will definitely reduce our gathering more and more stress in our work. In spite of reading and knowing, we may still pass through stressful period, but this will give us some cushioning. Any activity, personal, professional, household, social, it will have its own reactions. At times we may lose, at times we may win. At times it may be on our expected lines, at times it may need not necessarily be on the expected lines. Suddenly something may crop up. We may be subjected to go through adversities. So at all those times, suppose we are in a position to keep this in a part of our mind at the subconscious state, instead of getting ourselves totally confused, totally stressed, it will definitely dilute, and slowly awakening will come. it's all right. God made me to lose it. God made me to do it only for a better thing. I learned so many things. So karma phalatyagam. On the face of it, nobody will accept it. People who are involved in the so-called labeled worldly activities, it is difficult for them. But an effort to understand deeply the import of it will definitely reveal that this is the truth he is revealing. My job is to work. And not for its fruits. And sitting in Anandashram, we can definitely say this. Because right from day one, Papa Mataji started this ashram on 15th May 1931. 92 years almost, with no expectation, this ashram has been able to function. Just imagine. Because Papa wanted every one of us to know that the planner is He. His quotation is, God arranges all things in His own way at the time He appoints. God arranges all things in His own way at the time He appoints. We need not break our head. Because at the appropriate time, if it is needed, He will provide. Your job is to carry on with the mission in which you are dragged here. Rest of the things I will take care, no? Elsewhere he says, yoga kshemam vahamyam. I will take care of your yoga and kshema. Your both inner and outer welfare, I take over. He gives us an assurance. But those who have seen this, those who have undergone this experience, not learning will not give this. Hearing will not help us. But suppose we observe somebody's experience or go through our own experience. Look at our own experience. We may say miraculously, all those words we say. No, mysteriously we got. It is not that. He willed it, that's all. Your job is to work. So it has been beautifully brought out by him. For enabling us to dwell more and more, he made one of the devotees who is hearing now. I hope he is hearing now. He sent an email, will you please share this in today's Satsang? As soon as we opened in the stanza, it was a wonderful stanza. Normally in the 12th, we give importance for stanza starting from 13th. But this 12 is directly related to our daily life, workaday life. Once again we will read before we move on to the next. श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागं त्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम्. Better indeed is knowledge than blind practice. Meditation with knowledge is more esteemed than mere textual knowledge. Better than inward journey is the renunciation of the fruit of action. Peace immediately follows renunciation. When the moment we hear the word renunciation, it may not be palatable to people like us who are involved in various activities. So better we can change the word renunciation to expansion. That's all. Papa always gives it is not renunciation. Even for his sannyas, he said, he has not renounced anything. He has only expanded. So the karmabala tyaga means you are not limiting to one particular segment or to one person or to yourself. It is available to everybody. Then the shanti comes, peace comes, serenity comes, calmness comes, stress-free situation comes. So let us all try to imbibe as much as possible. Initially we may fail, we may forget, but by persevering efforts, commitment to this ideal, there are so many who have contributed for my so-called labeled success. So I cannot appropriate it to myself. And I know now intellectually that when action is done, it has to bring results. And when it is done with pure motive, it will bring back the result by itself. I don't have to do anything else. When we throw the ball, it comes back to us. We don't have to do anything for the ball to come back. Action and reactions are same and opposite. So same thing, when we do action, it is something like throwing the ball. We don't have to bother about it. So if we are in a position to raise our mind to that level, we will be able to lead a peaceful life. This is what Lord Krishna says in this 12th sloka of the 12th chapter. Anything else anybody would like to share? All are deeply contemplating.
Swami, sacrificing something for others' benefit is equal to renunciation, Swamiji.
Huh?
Sacrificing something for others' good, is it equal to renunciation?
Satisfaction for others.
Sacrifice, yeah. Because at the time of sacrifice, if it is a real sacrifice, you will not think about anything, You will not even put a banner, a label called renunciation. You are prompted from within. Intuitively, you are prompted from within, and spontaneously you do that. And you will forget about it. We have seen many instances, we don't have to go to anybody. You just go back to your own. You are about to take your cup of coffee or fruit. Somebody steps in, immediately you will share, Spontaneously you will share. Natural. You will not even say, give a label, I have renounced my coffee. So renunciation, the best way is to understand it as expansion. Instead of appropriating to a certified or a selected beneficiary or a segment, it is available to all scientific achievements. It is available to everybody. Think about it.
Even you feel nice also, when you share.
The early morning, you see the sun. If he is not seen, you and I are upset. Though we say, this particular season is very, very hot. But one day if he takes casual leave, finished. The whole thing will come to a stop. Think about it. Does he expect anything from us? We don't even recognize, God is within us in the form of life force, in the form of awareness, in the form of intelligence. Do we recognize him? But has he left us and gone? We don't even recognize him. We don't offer our respect to him. We may always, even we may deny him. But still he has not left us. So we keep on thinking about it, no? A scientist is prompted to bring out something through discovery or invention or innovation, agreed. But we should know the scientist is a person. He is not an object. He becomes a scientist only because the life force is there, God is there. And each one has been given an assignment, and based upon that assignment, he or she brings out. And suppose, as a bhakta, as a spiritual aspirant, if we go through on these lines, we will never arrogate or assert that it is I who have done. For Vyavaharic language, we may use the word I, but deep within our heart, we know. But for him, inside, but for him, in the form of co-creations and creations outside, I would not survive. Even for a second, I will not survive.
This COVID vaccine has happened so many people like that, Swamiji.
Eh?
This COVID vaccine, yes, it was like that.
COVID vaccine.
COVID vaccine.
Ah,
COVID vaccine.
COVID vaccine, yeah. Think about it.
Swamiji,
How everybody is reaching out to everybody. Yes.
Neelam.
yes, Hariom Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Swamiji, one of the satsang few days back was discussed on action, and I was deeply thinking about it that the action of two people, like we live in our home and everybody's action is different. So every action is propelled by our own gunas.
Ah.
So that became very important that the other person, to me, that the other person is not going to act according to my desire
Correct.
or my way of doing things, because as he is propelled by his gunas,
Yeah.
I am propelled by my gunas. So
Yeah.
it will be different.
Ah.
So many day-to-day, in practical life,
Ah.
we experience this. So this was very,
That, yeah.
took home. So
This-
then the best thing is let the person act their way and to surrender, and then peace comes.
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
he is doing the action from his side. We cannot do the way he thinks, and
Correct.
he is not going to do the way I think.
Correct.
So that was very good.
That is okay. Suppose but at the same time we know, when suppose we are running an organization,
Yes, sir.
and we, being the boss, we have a vision about the company's activities. And in order to translate this into a reality, we employ people, we guide them, we give them, direct them, okay. So if there is anything to be done, there should be a collective effort. So normally we have found, because the gunas are different, each one may not be able to bring out in the same way as the another man does. So that is why an efficient manager, an efficient top boss, he will always have consultation, discussion with them. Because when all these ideas are pooled, all the section heads are called, production, purchase, sales, maintenance, so many things will be there. So all these people when are called in one table, and then the problem is placed, he will have a patient hearing from different departments. Each one has to function within their own, agreed. But when the entire thing is pooled, then he does some sifting and takes out or brings out or arrives at a decision which will be acceptable to everybody, because he is recognizing the importance of each and every section.
Right.
That is what is meant here by Lord Krishna when he says, you try to touch the human element in everybody. Though gunas are predominant in all of us, the human element, consciousness, that will enable us to get over.
Yes.
For a smooth family, for a harmonious family setup, for a harmonious professional setup.
Right.
We don't say that he is subordinate, he should not be concerned. No. Nobody is irrelevant, nobody is unimportant, nobody is insignificant. And then we start consulting it. Because we know that everybody cannot move in the same direction. So, but at the same time, each one is potentially divine.
Right.
So a collective understanding is necessary, a collective effort is necessary. We don't blame anybody, we recognize. Beyond certain level, that person cannot think, but within that parameters, he can also contribute something.
Yes.
Think about it.
Yes.
We have had many such experience in our professional career. An ordinary worker who comes in the morning at 7:45 for the roll call and goes on by 4:30. Probably not lettered person, but he will give you wonderful ideas.
Right.
He would not have studied science. Suppose we want to irrigate and the water level is on a higher level and there is no chance just to pass through at minimum 1000 or 1500 meter. What to do now? Suppose we practically go and ask him, is there any way? Then he will think about it. He said, you give me 1 day's time. He will collect something, and by which, he makes a small opening right from the beginning, and by next evening, he will see that the water is delivered to the lower level. He doesn't know anything about it, but practical experience has taught him. He may not be able to explain and convince us. Like that, there are so many. In plantation management, we should not be guided merely by scientists or scientific revelations. We should go to the actual planter and see for himself. An agriculturist, he draws the knowledge from the experience, solid.
Yes, sir.
So that means what, as you said, apparently we can say each one is directed by his own gunas, intrinsic gunas. But God sees to it that whenever there is a harmonious collection of this, it will ultimately help the individual and the society at large to progress fast. And the last word in this stanza, Shantim Anantaram. Peace, 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 peace.
Yes.
Yeah. So now at least we have slowly started understanding that Bhagavad Gita is a manual of our daily life. It is not what transpired between A and B 5,000 years ago on a war front. It is directly related to our daily experience, daily life, daily battle of life.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So like this, you may kindly go through and send us which shloka is more appealing.
This was chapter 18.
Huh?
This was chapter 18.
No, 18th chapter.
No. Which one?
Shloka I did not write.
She did not write the slokas.
The one you said. Nirguna. Sorry, Gunatrayam. Yeah, it is there. Each one is acting according to his or their own guna. Gunatraya Vibhagam, 17.
No, 14.
7. Yeah, that we are not to do a...
Shraddhatraya Vibhagam. In that, Shraddhatraya Vibhagam, in that different gunas are. Yesterday we were discussing about Vangmayam, Shariramayam, Manomayam.
Tapas.
Yes, sir.
So yeah.
7.
So difference. Sattva-rajas tamas, how does it? Food, everything has been brought out here. action. Let us.
It was. Chapter 18. It was.
Or it might be in the Gunatrayam. Anyhow, it has structure and again, let us not bother about which text, which sloga. What is more important is how it becomes, because we slip into this academic exercise, What what we need is, it has structure and kindle certain aspects. That is enough. That is the job of Gita. It touches and kindles so many things related to our daily life, and that will help us. Slogas do help, no doubt, but let us not get stuck with the slogas. What has it touched and kindled in us? What has it given some direction to us? How it is guiding us? That is more important. That is how we approach it. Everything, in Papa's approach, everything is directly related to daily life. Yeah. Okay.
I think something shloka was not mentioned that time.
Sloka is not mentioned at that time.
We will try. We will try.
We will also go through. You also try.
Don't worry. What is more important is the theme. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Pranam. Namaskar. Namaskaram. Namaskaram. Namaskaram.
Except the flag hoisting, where is flag hoisting photo? Okay, you have video. Then you can keep video. Photo only can do. Video also. Please ask Swami, when I overslept the first time, why did he have somewhat wrong at the door after the gate? Then why did he leave it to God? And that came to an